Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Saturday, September the 29th, race number 10 at beautiful Belmont Park. It is the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup, part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series. A win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Let's take a look at this field. We're going 1.25 miles over Big Sandy at beautiful Belmont Park. You can access free Formulator Pass performances for the Jockey Club Gold Cup on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them. Handicap along with us. We'll take the field in post position order, beginning with a 30-1 long shot. Keeneland graduate number 1 Carlino coming off an optional claiming win. This might be a little short this distance for Carlino. I know 1 1/8 miles last time out was fine for him, but this is a horse that really acts like he could run all day long. Yeah, drop in class last time. A little bit of a shorter distance didn't affect him, and he came from last and he ran down. Let's just say weaker horses in the stretch there. He's a pretty nice horse, Dan. You know what you're going to get from him. He'll be lagging behind the field early, and he will be racing on at the end. He's just hoping that this pace totally falls apart. They're taking a chance with Carlino in here. He is yet to buy or higher than 95, and he'll be facing horses that have certainly shown the ability to run faster than that in the past. The number 2 is Gronkowski, returning to the scene of his Belmont Stakes runner-up performance behind Triple Crown winner Justify. The Travers was not as kind as the Belmont, although you could argue that perhaps the track and the race shape worked against him. Yeah, they certainly did. If you're looking for an excuse for the Travers, it's not really that hard to find one. I mean, he was just one of those horses, you know, once again, he didn't break that well from the gate. That was the same thing that happened to him in the Belmont Stakes. And he just wound up in, I thought, a terrible spot. Down on the rail, in behind horses. Joel Rosario, who was riding that day, had to take a big hold of him. He just never got really comfortable. And then, of course, that track was not lending itself to making big runs from off the pace. So he just really didn't have any chance. I think if you're, want to go back to him in this race, you want to go back to the Belmont Stakes and judge him off of that race. He ran a 9-9 buyer that day. I thought he ran fine. I just don't love that performance from him. He didn't, he was just really slow early, and then he got totally outrun. After getting outrun, I thought Jose Ortiz did everything right. He gave him a perfect trip in that race, and he got second after Justify just disposed of the rest of that field. I'm not going to be surprised when he runs better in this race, Dan, but I don't love him in this race. We have a past Breeders' Cup winner in this field in the form of the number 3 Mendelssohn, who took the juvenile turf at Del Mar in 2017, then exploded onto the Kentucky Derby scene with a gigantic gate-to-wire performance in the UAE Derby, a race that was probably flattered by a speed-favoring and inside-favoring track. He fairly well bombed in the Derby, but he ran on to be an okay second in the Travers, although unlike Gronkowski, he set the pace on the rail and had a lot of things go his way. Yeah, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt that that horse does, that's for sure. And listen, it was nice to see him, show up and really run a respectable race in the Travers, and he did run fine that day. But at the end of the day, no match for Catholic Boy when he really had the run of the race in there. So the question now becomes, how good is this horse? I mean, outside of that UAE Derby, where's his dirt race that suggests that he could win a race at the Jockey Club Gold Cup? I don't see it. The popular One-Eyed Patch, the number 4, is going to be a giant price, 20-1 on David Aragona's morning line. Third in last year's Belmont Stakes. Last time out, he ran 5th in a weak edition of the Woodward, but boy, he was far back early. He was far back early, and you just couldn't come any wider to the stretch than he had to come. I mean, he had to come, I don't know, a good 10 wide off that turn there. He was way, way out there. He stayed on it then. He was never a threat to win it. He never looked like he was going to get more than he got, which was 5th. But all in all, I guess he ran fine in the race. Here's what you like about him. There could be a pace in this race, and if they go fast in front of him, he will be running at the end, and distance is no problem for this horse. He wants to go all day long. It's nice to know that one of the other Woodward also-rans, the 9th place finisher, came back to run second in last week's Kelso with a 100 buyer speed figure. Uno Mas Modelo comes into this race on a 3-race win streak. Not bad for a horse that was once claimed for $10,000 at Hawthorne, but this is a big step up in class, and perhaps more importantly, a gigantic hike in distance. Yeah, I mean, they're just going to stretch him way out here, and it's fine to, take a shot in a race like this when you're in really good form, and this horse is in really good form. But why isn't he running in the Vosburg? That's actually a very, very good point. The big money in the Jockey Club for $750,000. They're going to take a shot here. Diversifies your 4-5 odds-on morning line favorite, and deservedly so. He won this race last year, arguably against a better field than he'll face here, and he has just been stupendous in his last 2 races, blitzing them early and often in both the Suburban and the Whitney to the tune of 110 buyers. As we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, we know where Diversify is going to be. He's going to be out there on the lead. But the fact that Thunder Snow does not have a pace rating based on his freak-out performance in the Kentucky Derby kind of throws this pace projector out of whack. Is there anyone that can pressure Diversify? Can it be the 8 Thunder Snow? Can it be the 3 Mendelssohn? Or is Diversify just loose once again?
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I guess if you could find a way to get Thunder Snow into the pace projector, and you can't because there are no North American starts really to throw in there for him, I would put him second. I think he'll be up close to the pace in here. The problem for him is, and I know that he wired the field last time on dirt in the Dubai World Cup when they conceded the lead to him. Diversify's not conceding the lead to him. Diversify's a really, really fast horse, and I think it's sort of instructive to go back and watch his last 2 races. I think Irad Ortiz has decided we're not taking any prisoners in these races. He is going fast paces early. He is running those fields out of the race, and he is staying on through the stretch to last. His last 2 races are very, very, very good. I mean, they're as good as they look on paper, Dan. This horse, based on those 2, he's really hard to beat in here.
Graded stakes winner, Discreet Lover, dances every dance, but was well beaten by Diversify in both the Suburban and the Whitney, and he just did not show up in the Woodward last time out. He's probably overmatched from a class standpoint. I think the plan for Manny Franco, take him back, hope for an electric pace, let's get a piece of this big purse.
Yeah, that's exactly the way that they have to ride him. They know they're going to get outrun early in this race, try and get a piece of it at the end.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup. I'm going to take a chance with Thunder Snow, and I think a lot of folks will probably laugh because he's probably best remembered for his Kentucky Derby debacle, but this is a horse that did pull off the UAE Derby Dubai World Cup double. In the World Cup, I was stunned the West Coast conceded the lead to him going into the first turn, the way that track was playing. But he kind of was never threatened after that. It was a good, solid performance for a horse that seems to like dirt, although he really hasn't run on dirt other than the Derby in Dubai.
Right.
His last race on turf's a throwout. He lost shoes. He's probably not as good of a turf horse as he is on dirt. I hope that Mendelssohn goes after Diversify. I want him sitting third. I don't want him doing the dirty work because I don't think he can catch and pass.
That's a tough trip if you're going to chase Diversify. I hear you in that regard. Listen, this is a good horse. He's been a good horse right from the start, and he is a good turf horse. But he's also a good dirt horse. The Dubai World Cup is one of those races that when you watch it and you see everything that went right for him in there, the pace was really slow. He rode the gold rail. The other speed in the race, North America, missed the break. Just everything fell into his lap that day, but you're right. He ran really well in his own right that day, and it's not the only dirt race this horse has ever run. He's run well on dirt other than that race. He obviously handles it just fine. We'll see if he handles it in North America, because I guess that's the big question, and we'll see if he handles it when Diversify runs away from him early.
Yeah, completely different pace setup this time out for Thunder Snow, but I think he's a fairly classy animal.
Yeah,
He'll be a slightly better price than Diversify, the deserving favorite. Mike, you're going 6, 8, and 2. You just think he's the best horse?
Yeah, his last 2 races have really turned me around on Diversify, and I'm not going to try and beat him here, but I will use a little Thunder Snow.
6, 8, 2 for Mike, 8, 6, 3, 4 for me in the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup, part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series. A win and you're in for the Classic.